All right, guys, Sanch here, and welcome back to another episode of Bodybuilding News Today. In this episode, we're going to be covering Cedric McMillan in his most recent update on Instagram as he is prepping for the 2020 Mr. Olympia in December, approximately 8 weeks out. So if you guys are interested, make sure you guys stay tuned. And obviously, by the title of the video, like I said, we're going to be doing an update on Cedric McMillan as he is prepping for this year's Mr. Olympia. Now, a lot of people have said that Cedric didn't make any progress this year. It's definitely difficult to tell because Cedric doesn't post that much on Instagram. He really keeps everything under wraps until he's pretty much 1 week out from the show, and then he'll start posting stuff depending on if he feels comfortable enough with the conditioning and the package that he's going to be bringing to this stage. But I want to share kind of my thoughts on that topic, on if Cedric McMillan is making progress, if he's made progress this offseason, and my predictions as what he's going to be doing and how well he'll be placing at this year's Mr. Olympia. And for the most part, I love Cedric McMillan, another Army guy, so I really do appreciate what he's done and what he's been able to accomplish while also being in the active duty service. And in my opinion, it doesn't really take a lot for Cedric to get in conditioning. He's not one to get excessive with his bulking. Now, typically when you're in the Army, just so you guys know, there's a fitness test you have to take, and it's for active duty, it's every 6 months. For people that only do it once a year for their 2 weeks annual training, it's once a year. So Cedric, being active duty in the Army, he has to take this test twice a year. So he still needs to pass his walk if he has a profile or his 2 mile run at a certain time. Otherwise, he can't be in the Army. So he's maintaining a very specific level of body fat that's going to allow him to pass that PT test. So he's never going to be really, really big in the off season. He can't do these nasty, dirty bulks like some of the other guys. So he's always going to be in somewhat good conditioning. If you've ever seen him guest posing, he always looks fairly well. And from all these posts, you can see as he was getting ready for last year's Mr. Olympia and also the 2020 Arnold Classic in Ohio, which you guys see right here, he looked absolutely fantastic. And from the footage you can see right here, this is his, from what a lot of people are saying, is his best showing ever. Minus the 2012 New York Pro. I couldn't find any decent content for that one. This is the Arnold Classic in 2017 where Cedric McMillan actually won. And I want to allow you guys to look at this footage, watch his posing and his transitions, and make your own assumptions, make your own opinions on the level of conditioning and striations that Cedric brought to this stage. How do you think he looks? Do you think this is something that would be a first call out at the Mr. Olympia? Do you think this is a top 3? In my opinion, always make your own assumptions and your own conclusions. But in my opinion, I really like Cedric McMillan. I like his physique at this specific show. I think he had very good conditioning. I know with Kai Green, he was doing the commentary. He was applauding him for his classic shots and how he's hitting all these symmetry shots that really accentuate the lines and make a physique like Cedric's look very good and very sharp and full. And something I want you guys to focus on is the hamstrings, the glutes, and the back. Like, how much conditioning can you see? Can you see feathering? Can you see striations? That's what's really going to give you a good indication, a good clue on how much conditioning Cedric brought in 2017. And now as we transition into his 2020 showing at the Arnold Classic Ohio, obviously 2020, you kind of can compare the two different conditionings, the two different physiques that Cedric has brought to these two different shows. For me personally, I like to look at the quads, especially if he's in the front. Like, how high are those quad insertions, those featherings as it crawls up towards the posing trunks? How does that look? Is it very deep? Is it very defined? Can you see the feathering? Also, you always want to keep an eye on the midsection. when you're at a pro level, you have to keep that controlled. You can't let that spill over either on the sides with the obliques, or allowing you get out of breath and you allow that midsection, those abdominal muscles to spill over in the front. Always keep an eye out for things like that. And also, if he's in the front, kind of try to look for striation marks in the shoulders and the inner pecs. You're like, how sharp does he look? Do his pecs look saggy? Are his arms vascular? There's so much, and I don't want to overanalyze it, but there's so much more you can find. There's so much you can see in a physique. It's important to take the two physiques and compare them, and that's pretty much what I want you guys to do with these videos. And then take his 2017 body, his 2020 Arnold Classic showing, and then start thinking about, okay, what does he look like right now 8 weeks out from the Mr. O? And like I said in the beginning of the video, it's really hard to tell how conditioned he is somewhat 8 weeks out from the Mr. O this year, the 2020 Mr. Olympia. You're not really seeing a lot of posing here. You can see some feathering in the quads. You can see visual abdominals. There is a lot of water retention over top of it. So that's expected 8 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia. He has a lot of time here. Now, what I'm interested to see is 4 weeks out, when he's less than a month, or pretty much exactly a month out from the Mr. Olympia. That is where it's going to be really hammered to the nail. What can he bring? What has he done to prepare for that point? You know, what kind of level of conditioning are we going to see 4 weeks out? 8 weeks out, it's kind of, I don't want to beat the horse too much, but it's not a huge deal if he doesn't look that lean. But the real question was, did he make improvements? Did he make improvements? Did he make measurable gains in this offseason? It's kind of tough to see. I'm not one to... I think that he has at least maintained his physique. He is getting older, so it's kind of tough to tell if in the later years of your career, if you're going to be putting on muscle. It's more of the tail of the take to be, what level of conditioning can you maintain and how much muscle mass you can retain. Those are kind of the two ones you want to focus on getting later into your career. And that's going to do it for this video. I wanted to keep it fairly quick, but here is a 8-week update for Cedric McMillan as he is prepping for the 2020 Mr. Olympia. The question being, did he make improvements in the offseason, and does he have enough time 8 weeks out to get ready for a first call out at the Mr. O? Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoy bodybuilding news today, you can always like and subscribe. We have lots more content coming out in the future. If you'd like to support me on a personal level, you can always go to goldeneranutrition.com, and you can use my sponsored athlete code SANJ15 at checkout. And for any other supplement inquiries, you can always go to sups.com, and you can use my Armed Forces Ambassador code SANJ10 at checkout. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.